11 signs you were born to be an introvert. Introversion is a personality trait that is defined by a preference for internal feelings over external stimulation. If you suspect that you know someone who is an introvert or think you yourself are one but aren't sure, there are a few signs that you should look out for. This is why today we will look at some of those signs that show whether or not you might have been born as an introvert. So, stick with the video till the end to know the complete details. Now let's begin. Being around lots of people drains your energy and leaves you distracted. Do you ever feel drained after socializing with a large group of people? Do you find yourself needing to retire to a quiet spot and have a long period of time to yourself after a day of engaging with others? Introverts expend energy in social circumstances, whereas extroverts receive energy from such encounters, which is one of the key characteristics of this personality type. That isn't to say that all introverts avoid social situations. Many introverts love being in the company of others, with one important caveat. Introverts prefer the company of close friends, while an extrovert may attend a party in order to meet new people. An introvert prefers to spend quality time with old ones. There's something about being in a group that makes you feel detached from yourself. Maybe it's because there's so much noise around you that it's difficult to hear your inner voice. Whatever the cause, you desire private moments and deep connections as an introvert, which you won't find in a crowd. When introverts are forced to spend time in high-stress activities or surroundings, they can become disoriented and overwhelmed. Extroverts, on the other hand, thrive in environments with a high level of activity and limited opportunities for boredom. Researchers have discovered that introverts are more easily distracted than extroverts, which is one of the reasons why introverts prefer a quieter, less frantic environment. Even extroverts, according to new research, become fatigued from socializing at some point. This is due to the fact that socializing consumes energy. Introverts, on the other hand, are more likely to become exhausted and experience social burnout than extroverts. They may even suffer from what has been nicknamed the introvert hangover, in which they become exceedingly tired and maybe physically ill after engaging in a lot of socializing. If you are overwhelmed in crowded social situations, you're definitely an introvert. You enjoy solitude. As an introvert, a quiet afternoon to yourself to enjoy your hobbies and interests is your notion of a good time. A few hours alone with a nice book, a tranquil nature stroll, or your favorite television show are all excellent methods to re-energize yourself. This isn't to say that the typical introvert prefers to be alone all of the time. Many introverts enjoy social circumstances where they can spend time with friends and engage with individuals they know. The important thing to remember is that an introvert will want to go to a quiet location to think, reflect, and recuperate after a long day of social activity. On a Saturday night, you have no qualms about staying in. In fact, you eagerly anticipate it. Relaxation to you entails watching Netflix and unwinding, reading, playing video games, painting, cooking, writing, knitting small cat caps, or just lounging around the house might be your thing. You do whatever your favorite alone pastime is as much as your schedule allows. When you're alone, you feel good. You're free in your alone time. If spending a few hours alone sounds like a wonderful time to you, you might be an introvert. Small group of close friends. The idea that introverts don't like others is a frequent misperception. While introverts dislike large groups of people, they do like having a small circle of friends with whom they are extremely close. Introverts prefer deep, long-term relationships characterized by a great deal of closeness and intimacy over having a vast social circle of people they only know on a superficial basis. According to studies, those who score high on this feature have a narrower circle of friends. Extroverts tend to have a large circle of friends and acquaintances, whereas introverts tend to select their connections more carefully. Their closest relationships are usually deep and meaningful. In addition, they prefer to communicate with people one-on-one rather than in a large group situation. There is a good possibility you're an introvert if your social circle is limited but extremely close. People often describe you as being too quiet or too intense. Introverts are often misunderstood as shy because they are quiet, restrained, and mellow. People should not confuse an introvert's reserve for shyness, even though some introverts are shy. People with this personality type often prefer to choose their words carefully rather than waste time or energy on unnecessary chit-chat. You're probably an introvert if you're a quiet and reserved person. On the other hand, some people may think you're too intense. This is due to your distaste towards the small conversation. If it were up to you, mindless chit-chat would be outlawed in favor of deep, philosophical conversations. You'd much rather sit down with someone and talk about the meaning of life, or at the absolute least, share some genuine, honest feelings. The remedy to social exhaustion for introverts is meaningful engagement. You are very self-aware. Introverts are inward-looking people who spend a lot of time reflecting on their own internal experiences. You might be more of an introvert if you feel that you have a solid understanding and insight into yourself, your motivations, and your feelings. Introverts likely merely contemplating and analyzing things in their heads. Introverts value self-awareness and self-understanding. Thus, they often invest a significant amount of effort in learning more about themselves. This could include things like engaging in hobbies they enjoy, reflecting on their lives, and reading books about themes and issues that are significant to them. If you consider yourself to be self-aware and love learning more about yourself, you may be an introvert. You like to learn by watching and communicating by writing. Introverts like to learn through observation, whereas extroverts want to jump right in and learn through hands-on experience. Introverts learn best by watching, whereas extroverts learn by trial and error. Introverts enjoy watching others accomplish a task until they feel confident in their ability to duplicate the activities on their own. When introverts learn through personal experience, they prefer to do so in a quiet setting where they can hone their talents without having to perform in front of others. You'd also rather text and call your friend or email your coworkers than attend a staff meeting. Writing allows you to think about what you want to say and how you want to communicate it. It enables you to fine-tune your thoughts and design your message to perfection. Furthermore, when you type your remarks into your phone alone, rather than saying them to someone in real time, there is less pressure. You might even want to pursue writing as a career if you prefer to learn by watching rather than doing, and writing things down to communicate. You may have a more introverted personality type. You are drawn to jobs that involve independence. Jobs that demand a lot of social interaction, as you might expect, don't appeal to people who are introverted. Introverts, on the other hand, often prefers occupations that require them to work autonomously. Working as a writer, accountant, computer programmer, graphic designer, pharmacist, or artist, for example, is a good fit for an introvert. You'd rather have a one-on-one talk with your employer after a meeting or email your ideas than convey them to a room full of people at work. When you're passionate about anything, there is an exception. When you believe that speaking up will genuinely make a difference, you run the risk of overstimulation. You are certain airplanes were created by and for extroverts. In their right mind, no introvert would build such a confined environment with nowhere to hide for so many people. On long plane flights, headphones are your soul's saving grace. You might reason that you don't want to chat to the stranger sitting 2 centimeters away from you and discover all about their interests. You're perfectly pleased to stare out the window, concentrate on your breathing, and listen to this new Out and Go track. You'll probably say hi when you sit down and safe travels when you depart, since you're gorgeous. You married or are dating an extrovert. Extroverts may not comprehend an introvert's desire for privacy and silence, but they are really useful at parties. Introverts simply sit back and relax, while their outgoing colleague mingles with all of the introverts' co-workers at the annual Christmas party. It has been found that introverts and extroverts have high chances of getting together. Don't feel high from your surroundings. Large parties aren't your thing from a neurochemical standpoint. Extroverts and introverts process events differently through reward areas in their brains. Researchers demonstrated this phenomenon by giving introverted and extroverted college students Ritalin, an ADHD medication, to boost dopamine production in the brain. They discovered that extroverts were more likely to identify the joy induced by the flow of dopamine with their surroundings. Introverts, on the other hand, did not link their sense of reward to their environment. According to Live Sciences Tia Goes, the study suggests that introverts have a fundamental difference in how powerfully they interpret rewards from their environment, with introverts' brains evaluating internal cues more heavily than exterior motivational and reward cues. You feel like you're faking it when you have to network. Do you approach strangers and introduce yourself, but you know it's worthwhile, so you'll do it anyhow, but you'll feel like a phony the whole time? If you're anything like this, you have to learn how to do it from scratch. Currently, you have to activate your public persona. Smile, make eye contact, and utilize your loud, confident voice. You tell yourself that after you're done, you're exhausted and in need of some rest to recover. It will be tough for you to engage in small talk when networking. Have you ever turned into another room to avoid having a "hey, what's up" conversation with a coworker who is going down the hall toward you? Have you ever waited a few minutes in your flat because you heard your neighbors in the corridor and didn't want to engage in conversation? If that's the case, you might be an introvert. It's not that introverts are terrified of the small chat, it's just that we prefer not to engage in it. That's all for today, folks. We hope you have found the video informative and fun to watch. Also, tell us in the comment section your views about signs you should look out to see if you're an introvert. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon next to it for regular updates. Goodbye!